We are watching Will's Butterfly, commentary by Coach Chris. I'm going to run this at full speed so we can kind of take a look at how the stroke is flowing. And then we're going to slow it down and look at certain strokes, kind of get an idea of what Will's doing with this butterfly. So just watching it above water, Will's doing a really good job of the stuff we're working on. And in particular, we're focused on the timing of the head with the breath. So like for here, for instance, you're going to see him take an early stroke. He's getting that head up early for the breath. So that's a perfect position that he's getting himself in. So he can finish that breath on the back half of this stroke. And then he can get that head down as he reaches for that recovery. So that's one of the things we're really working hard on. And when we're doing it during these little video tapings, it's real easy to get that correct. But that's what tends to break down with you when you're swimming this race. So what you're looking to do is keep that timing. And see, it looks great on a non-breath stroke when you're not taking a breath. And then again, getting that head up early, getting it down. So that all looks great. And the timing of the kick is looking really good as well. But one thing I'm noticing on the recovery. So you're driving your hands out. And as they coming through, I want you to see how that wrist is bent? We got this wrist really, really bent. And that's because you're controlling your arm by twisting and moving the wrist. So you're trying to bring that wrist forward, and that's where, when you think about what you're moving and what you're moving across the water to sweep the water, your mind is on your wrists, on the top of your hand. That's what you're thinking about. That's what you're moving. And what I want you to think about doing is, instead of thinking about the wrist and leading the stroke with that wrist and moving that wrist across the surface, think about your elbows. Straighten your arm as you bring your hands out and through, and think about keeping the elbows pointed up towards the ceiling and sweeping the water. And don't move the hands. Move the elbows the way you want the elbows to move. And that's not just for butterfly recovery. That's for the backstroke recovery. That's for the freestyle recovery. You want to control your elbows. And the better swimmers don't think about what their hands doing. They think about what their elbows are doing. And that's how they find the angles they want. That's how they find the positions they want. They control the upper arm, and they can think about the elbow as being the thing they're manipulating instead of the hand. Because when you think about that hand, that's where you get these bent wrists. That's where you get these twisted arms. And what it's doing is, once you get into this position towards the end of your stroke, you can just see how twisted that arm is, both arms. And you're just hooking your hands. At this point, your hands should be flat. They should be in line with that, they should be in line with the forearms, and your fingers should be pointed forward. And right now, when your hand enters, you're going to see this big splash. And that's because the back of your hands and everything are hitting the water and creating drag and slapping into the water. You want to flatten those hands out just a little bit. Keep them in line with your forearm. Focus on the elbows on the recovery and moving the elbows, not the hands. And let the hand and forearm just follow where the elbow's going. It sounds like a small thing, but as you take more and more strokes butterfly, having those arms in that twisted position up here is going to put more and more strain on those shoulder muscles, back muscles, arm muscles, and your stroke's going to break down because it's just a very difficult position to hold. And butterfly is already a hard enough stroke, so we don't want to make it any harder. So we're going to go through. Not a bad turn. Try to bend that hand. Don't swing it straight over the top. And we'll talk about the underwater in the next video. But above water, you're doing a lot of the stuff we talked about right. Okay, I think the timing of the kick looks good. The timing of the breath looks good, and that's mostly what we're focused on. And the sweep is long. You're not bending the elbows too much, keeping a nice long sweep. But right now we're just bending those wrists at a weird angle, leading with the wrists, and we need to relax the wrist, relax the forearm and hand, and think about our elbows when we're recovering and controlling those and sweeping those to move the arm. So let's go underwater with your video so we can see a little bit more about that kick and that pull.